Hey everybody. Alright, so today I want to show you how to create a name or word in your Silhouette Studio software that you can put on a t-shirt with heat transfer vinyl. I am using the business edition, as you can see up here in the top left corner. However, you could do this also with the standard regular software that comes with your Silhouette machine in your package. So here we go. Over here on the left side, you'll see a panel. The A would be for your alphabets. So if you click on the A and then click in the center here, it will just start blinking and you can start typing a name. So I'm going to go ahead and just use the word tigers. And I'm going to highlight it. So if you hold down your mouse and you just highlight the word, there are a couple of ways you can do this. So you can come up to the top, and all the fonts that are in your computer system will show up on here. So you can either go here and scroll down until you find the font that you like, or you can go over here, and this is the one I like working with the most. I just feel like I can control it a little bit easier. So you'll come over here to the A on the right side, and then you can scroll through all of your fonts here and find a font that you like. So let's just find one. That was kind of funky. That'll work. So let's just go ahead and go with Any Door. That is the name of this font, Any Door. And so once you click on the font, then you can click outside of the word, and then you can click on the word, and then grab one of these little square corners and make it a little bit bigger so you can see what you're working with. So now that we have the word, we are going to have to do a few things. So see how right here the I, the G, the E, the R overlaps the next letter a little bit. So what we want to do is we want to ungroup. So you're going to right click on the word and you're going to click ungroup. Okay. This is going to ungroup your letters so you can move them around however you want. I'm going to go back up here and undo that. So I like to have my T a little bit higher, so I'm going to come up with the T. If you aren't sure if they're all lined up, see how this is a little bit lower than the I, and then the E and the R seem to be on the same level, but then the S is way down here. I like for them to line up. So what I like to do is come over here. You can open the transform panel, and whenever I choose line up, it's going to line up all of them, including the G that goes all the way down. So I'm going to push shift to choose the letters that I want. I'm only going to choose those letters, and then I'm going to choose this align bottom. And it's going to align all of these letters together, but you can see here how the G and the S come up a little bit above the others. So here's what I do. I'm going to click out of that, go up here to the top right, and we're going to open up this panel. We're going to go right here where the grid is, the grid settings, and I'm going to do show grid. So now I can see my grid. It's going to help me see where everything is lined up. I can highlight the whole word, and I'm going to zoom in. So up here, the zoom in button. Okay, and now I can see it a little bit better. Let me get rid of this panel there. Now you can see the G is not quite on the same level. The S, I'm going to bring the S down. I just like things to be a little bit more proportionate to each other, and that was just a little higher. The G, it will come down here, but you want the G to line up with the top of these letters just to make it look proportionate and good. So I think that looks good. I'm moving my T over a little bit. So once you have your word how you like it, then you can highlight the whole word. You know what? Let's move the E over a little bit. I moved it over just a little bit. So, and this can be moved over as well. I'm a little picky, but I like things to look just right. So let's highlight the whole word again. Right click. And now here's where we're going to make the word come together. We're going to click weld. Okay, now when you weld it, you can see that all of the letters that we're touching are now actually connecting. So whenever you go to print on your machine, it's not going to cut off your letters. It will actually keep cutting how you see it here. And I will show you whenever we get to that point what to look for. So now you can see that the I, the dot of the I and the T, everything is still separate. Even though we welded it, the ones that do not touch, we need to just group them together. So if you right click and push group, then you have your word together and you can move it around however you want. So let's just go ahead and say that for your shirt or whatever you're putting your name or word on, you need it to be, you measured your shirt and the size you want your design to be. So let's just go up here at the top and you can change tigers to be 8 inches and you push enter. And then here you can make it 4.5, oop, not 43, 4.5, enter. Okay, so let's just say 8 by 4.5 is what you want. You can change the color of tigers to whatever you want it to be, but it doesn't really matter because you're going to choose the color vinyl that you want to use when you put it on your sticky mat or the mat that comes with your machine or the mat that you're using. So it really doesn't matter, but sometimes I like to change the color for my own visual, and it kind of says, okay, I need purple vinyl or whatever color. So it kind of helps me to know what I'm doing whenever I go to choose my vinyl color. So now that we have our design ready, if you want to add an outline of another color vinyl, you can do that. I do not suggest putting vinyl on top of vinyl. It doesn't seem to stay on shirts no matter what, as well as if you were to put vinyl on top of vinyl, but that is also separated underneath. So let me show you what I'm talking about. I'm going to hold down the Alt button on my keyboard, and I'm just going to drag down tigers to where it actually creates me another one. So now I have 2 tigers. You can also click on tigers, right click, and choose duplicate instead, and that will also give you another one. So there's a few ways you can do that. I'm going to go and delete that. Okay, so now we have tigers. Now we want to outline. So let's go over here to the right panel, and we're going to open the offset panel. The offset is going to offset what you have selected. So I have tigers selected, so I'm going to offset, and it's going to automatically put it at around 0.125. You can make it bigger if you want to kind of get rid of some of the little tiny pieces. So watch, I'm gonna zoom in for you so you can see. And I'm actually going to go back up here and take this grid off real quick so it's easier for you to see what I'm doing. Okay, so offset, let me just delete that offset so I can show you again. Okay, so I chose offset. See these tiny little pieces? I don't want the tiny pieces, so if I go a little bit bigger, it will get rid of those. I still have a few here, and so we can go a little bit bigger until they're gone. And even though these are all touching, what it's going to do is if they're touching here, then it's going to merge them together. So if I apply, see how it kind of merges all of the offset outline together. So I'm going to go ahead and change it. Here's a color panel over here. I'm going to change this to gold so you can get an idea of what we're looking at here. So now you have the offset And then if we click out of it and just click on the purple, you have the purple. Okay, here we go. Now, we don't want to print the yellow like this because then we'll have to put the purple directly on top of the yellow. So what we want to do is we want to highlight everything, come over here to the modify panel, and we're going to choose subtract all, sorry. So once we subtract all, we click out, you can see now this gives you the outline minus the top. So whenever you go to iron this onto your shirt, then you can iron this over it, and this tigers right here will be sticking to your t-shirt as well as this, not to the vinyl underneath it. So it will really help and keep your shirt looking good for a long time over many, many washes. So this is what I suggest doing if you're going to do an outline with a word or name and you want to put it on a t-shirt. So I hope that helps you understand how to create a name and how to merge the name or word, and then also how to create an outline subtracting the two pieces. So now that we have created that, I'm going to go ahead and open over here a new page because I want to go ahead and just copy this. I'm going to right click and copy it, go to this other new page and right click and paste it. So over here in the page setup, which is right up here, I'm going to choose my Cameo because that's the Cameo, that's the machine that I'll be using. And I always work with a 12 by 24. That's just the mat that I like using the most. A lot of people love the 12 by 12, so you can also choose the 12 by 12 if that is the size mat that you are using. Okay, so now that I have my mat size selected, I'm going to have to separate these. So we'll separate the purple from the yellow. And so here we go on this. I'm going to highlight both of them. Whenever you do heat transfer vinyl, you have to reverse it. So I'm going to right click on it. I'm going to flip horizontally because that is going to reverse it for me. I'm going to move it up here and a little bit down here to separate them because I'm going to need to use my yellow vinyl and my purple vinyl, heat transfer vinyl, since I would be putting this on a t-shirt. So I'm going to zoom in, and whenever you click on it, you can see your ruler up here. I use my ruler a lot, so I can see I'm going to need to cut my vinyl 9 by 5.5. So this will highlight and show you the dark spot of how big this is. So you'll give enough space, at least 1/4 of an inch on each side. And so I know I'm going to cut my vinyl 9 by 5.5. Okay, and then that's where I will place my yellow vinyl. And then if I come down here, I like to keep it under the 10. So if I move it over, I can also do this one about 9. Give a little extra wiggle room there. So 9 by between the 10 and 5.25, which so would be 15 and a quarter, so it'd be 5.25. So I'm going to cut my purple vinyl 9 by 5.25 and just place it right under that spot on my mat. When you are ready, looks like we're ready, we're going to go over to the top right and push send. And it's going to bring up what we're doing here, where we're sending it to, and all of that good stuff. So as you can see, all of the red here, the material that you're going to be using will be heat transfer vinyl. If it's smooth, choose smooth. If it is glitter, choose glitter. So those are the main ones I use when I'm doing t-shirts. So I will choose smooth. And if you are choosing, say one of these is glitter and one of these is smooth vinyl, then you will need to do them separately because they are different thicknesses. So you cannot print them at the same time and expect them both to come out the same, because you will have to change the thickness. So let's just say these are both going to be smooth vinyl. And so once you choose that, then you'll choose the cut is pretty much always chosen for me. Auto blade, I always use the ratchet blade. That is just what I prefer. I feel like it does better. I can control it easier. It doesn't mess up. So I choose ratchet blade. And if you highlight everything that you want to print, then, so if you, right here, no cut, it's not going to cut anything. You can see there's no red marks. This one, cut, will cut it. I always like to choose cut edge. It just works really well. It does everything I need it to do. It's going to cut around every edge that you see. Okay, so now after you have chosen your cut edge here, then you'll come down and you'll see right here is how deep your blade will cut. Whenever you choose heat transfer smooth up here, it will automatically put it on 2, which is a great setting for your smooth heat transfer. This should change whenever you change this. So you shouldn't have to move this unless your blade is dulling out, you've used it a lot, then you can move it over to another higher, depth. But we'll just keep it at what it came on. And then over here, the force, I don't really mess with. The speed, I usually put it on 8. And then 1 pass is great for the smooth. Like I said, if your blade is dulling out, then you may need to do another pass. Or if you're using a thicker vinyl and your blade's dulling, whether it's stencil material or glitter, you can always do another run. So tool number 2, I don't use because I always just use tool number 1 with my ratchet blade. Then if you come down and when you are ready and you have your vinyl on your mat, then you can come down here and push send. So once you come down here and you push send, then you click send. It will pop up and you will see send mirrored or send as is. Since we have already reversed it, then you do not need to click send mirrored. Always get in a habit of just doing this before you set it up to come to this spot right here to cut it, because just get in a habit. It's a good habit to get into. That way, whenever it does pop up, you just click send as is and it will send it to your machine. Cut it just like you have it. And once it cuts out, then you will just weed it and then put it on your shirt or item, whatever you are putting it onto. And that's it. So I hope this really helped for those beginners or anyone who doesn't know how to create a name. Take the name, put an outline around it, and then take the back off of the name so it will actually adhere to your t-shirt or garment or whatever, instead of putting it directly on top of the vinyl, subtracting those 2. So I hope this helped. Please visit our website, www.diywithjamie.com. Please subscribe, and we look forward to doing more tutorials for you in the future. Have a great day.